This narrow passage of rock and sea, barely 15 meters wide at its narrowest point. This is where 300 men chose to stop a million. 480 BC. The Persian Empire, the largest the world had ever seen, was marching to conquer all of Greece. And every army had to pass through here. Persian King Xerxes had assembled an army of over 1 million men, the greatest military force in human history. And Greece stood in his way. The Persian Empire stretched from Egypt to India. It controlled half the known world. No army had ever stopped it. King Xerxes I, son of Darius the Great, he had one mission: to finish what his father started, to burn Athens to the ground. Xerxes assembled an army from every corner of his empire. Historians estimate over 1 million soldiers from 46 different nations. Across the sea, the Greek city-states were divided. Athens, Sparta, Corinth, Thebes. They rarely agreed on anything. They needed to agree now. In the spring of 480 BC, Xerxes began his march. The ground itself shook under the weight of his army. Rivers ran dry as they drank. The Greek city-states sent an emergency council. The vote was unanimous. They would fight. Someone had to hold Thermopylae while the fleet gathered. The task of holding Thermopylae fell to Sparta, and Sparta sent its king, Leonidas I. He brought 300 of his finest warriors. These 300 men were not random soldiers. They were the elite, each one chosen because he had living sons to carry on his bloodline after he was gone. Leonidas and his 300 marched north. They were joined by warriors from other Greek cities along the way, perhaps 7,000 in total, against 1 million. When the Greek force arrived at Thermopylae, Leonidas immediately understood its genius. The narrow pass made numbers meaningless. There was an ancient crumbling wall in the middle of the pass. The Greeks rebuilt it. Then they waited. 7,000 men against 1 million. Waiting. Then came the day they had prepared for. The Persian advance guard appeared on the horizon and kept appearing, and kept appearing. Xerxes sent an emissary. He demanded the Greeks lay down their weapons. Leonidas sent back 2 words: come and take them. Xerxes waited 4 days. He couldn't believe they would actually stand. On the 5th day, he sent his army forward. The Greeks fought in a formation called the phalanx, shields locked together, spears extending forward like a wall of bronze. In the narrow pass, it was nearly impossible to break. The Persian immortals, their elite force, led the first wave. They had never been defeated. They had never faced a Greek phalanx in a narrow pass. Day 1. The Persians attacked again and again. And again and again, the phalanx held. The narrow pass gave the Greeks everything. By the end of day 1, the Persians had lost thousands. The Greeks, almost none. Xerxes watched from his golden throne on the hill, and for the first time, he was afraid. Day 2. Xerxes sent his elite immortals again, then again. The phalanx held. An entire empire was being stopped by 300 men in a narrow pass. Between assaults, the Greeks rested in rotation. They were professionals. They had trained for exactly this. Every single one of them knew they were making history. That night, after 2 days of impossible defense, the Greeks held their position. They had won 2 days. They knew day 3 would be different. Day 3 morning. The Greeks stood at their wall. They were still there. After 2 days, they were still there. A local shepherd named Ephialtes came to Xerxes. He knew a secret mountain path that went around the pass. He showed the Persians the way. That night, the Persian immortals marched through the mountain path. The Greek position was about to be surrounded. At dawn, a Greek scout brought the news. The Persians had found the path. The Greeks were about to be surrounded. Leonidas made his decision immediately. Leonidas sent most of the allied Greeks away. He kept only his 300 Spartans and a few hundred others who chose to stay. They formed up, facing north. The 300 moved to the narrowest point of the pass. No wall now, just 300 men, just shields and spears, and the choice they had made. They charged. 300 men charged 1,000,000, not to survive, to make the Persians remember, to give Greece the time it needed. The 300 died to the last man, but they held for 3 days. 3 days that allowed the Greek fleet to prepare at Salamis. 3 days that saved Western civilization. 3 months later, the Greek fleet, given time by the 300, destroyed the Persian navy at Salamis. Greece was saved. Western civilization was saved. At Thermopylae today, a monument stands where the 300 made their last stand. On it, a single inscription. Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie. 300 men chose to die, so that millions could live free. They succeeded. We are the proof. Next on EpochFire, $15 million, 800,000 square miles. The deal that made a superpower.